Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Messinio, President and CEO of the Marborough Regional Chamber of Commerce, here with another Chamber Spotlight. And today I'm pleased to have one of my very good friends, Marisa Fanelli from Healing Point Therapeutics. Marisa and I have known each other for a long time. Met her originally when I was back in my physical therapy days. And we've done some fun things together, not only from a referral side of things, but some business coaching, which was always it was an interesting time when we did that presentation down on the Cape.
Mm-hmm.
But Marisa is an excellent business owner. She's had Healing Point Therapeutics in Sudbury for a number of years, but recently moved to Marborough and became a new member of our chamber. So Marisa, thanks for coming on the show, and tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. So I'm the owner of Healing Point Therapeutics. I have been in business for 14 years. I started out just doing straight acupuncture, and then I decided to incorporate hypnotherapy into the mix. And so I've been doing a combination, the Hypno Acupuncture, for going on 13 years now. And then as I continued my practice, it started to evolve, and I started to kind of incorporate some intuitive stuff into the mix as well. So I have a pretty unique practice. And I was in Sudbury before moving to Marborough, had a whole big wellness, practice there with tons of practitioners coming in, doing events and things like that. Now I've brought a lot of that to the virtual space, but I'm still in the office Sunday through Wednesday, doing needling, doing the hypnosis. And it's been great. I'm like really looking forward to getting to know Marborough more. So yeah.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Hypno Acupuncture. What is that? How is that different from traditional acupuncture, and how does it benefit your patients when you're working with them?
So basically, people are getting a session that hits every level of their being. So the acupuncture is treating, the physical stuff, the mental, emotional stuff, and then we're going to the next level of creating these shifts in the subconscious mind as well. So I have found it to be incredibly beneficial for anxiety, depression, insomnia. I mean, I see patients for all different types of things outside of that, but that tends to be probably 80% of my client base. And I also see a ton of kids. Kids and teens respond incredibly well to this kind of medicine. So, I have teens that see me for anxiety, bullied teens, kids that are just completely lost, stuck in their depression, can't see a way out. That's becoming more and more of my client base at this point, and I love it because they would just respond so well to this type of medicine.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you also mentioned intuitive services. A little more detail there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. So, several years ago, people have always told me I have this intuitive thing, and I never really dove deeply into it. But as the years went on, I found that like my psychic gifts were starting to open up. I was seeing more and more messages, having visions, and just kind of knowing things. So I started to really work on that part of myself. And especially in 2020, when, everything shut down, I was stuck in my house, and it was the first time in my life that I actually had time, that I couldn't do anything. So I kind of threw myself into it, and I started to do these little mini sessions with people just to play around with it. And the results were so incredible. People were just constantly messaging me and telling me, I just don't understand. Like, how do you know this? And so I started to incorporate it into my practice. And even though this is my world, I do the psychic stuff, I'm an open-minded skeptic. So it takes a lot for me to really become comfortable putting things out there that you can't physically see, touch, that aren't sort of scientifically backed.
Right, outside the norm, that type of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it took me some time. I was kind of like hiding, I had a little hidden button on my website, and my clients who knew what my world was like would book with me sort of behind the scenes. And then finally, I started to think about how this could also benefit my sessions at work. And I opened it up, put it on my website, and had a huge interest in it. So now, people can book actual intuitive sessions with me. And my intuitive sessions are more based around how I call it sort of like the psychic version of ways. It's not about telling you this is what's going to happen in your future. It's more about, okay, here are the potential roadblocks that are coming up for you. Let's help you find an alternate path to weave through all the stuck traffic and construction and all of that in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of similar to coaching in that there is that piece to it, but it just blends so well with the other two things, the other two modalities that I do, that I often will just mix it without even thinking about it. I'll just get like a message and know, okay, this is what's going on with you health wise, or this is what's happening in your life that you need to deal with. And it just helps to move the sessions forward. So yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned when we talked recently, you had a student that was going through it. So it was an athlete or something that is benefiting from this. You know, what have you found with that individual that has made a big difference in their life?
Well, let's see, I believe he's 17 years old. He's a star athlete. And I started seeing him last year because he kind of got stuck in that place where he was amazing. But he hit that kind of plateau and he was getting stressed about it because, it's you constantly have to outdo yourself when you're out there playing sports. Right. I wouldn't know, but that's what I've heard. So I started seeing him for hypnosis. And then he was interested in the intuitive stuff. So I booked an intuitive reading with him, and it opened up things for him so much. He just had so many realizations, and he was like, I need this on a regular basis because this is such a good guide for me to help me move forward. And so he sees me very regularly. And I've started to attract, because, once you have one or two clients that try something and they're all connected, like I started to attract more and more of these teens who are interested in the intuitive stuff. And they said they all leave so light. Yeah. They come in and they're like, they feel so powerless. And by the time they leave, they're just like, oh my God, I have so many choices I can make to change my situation.
And that's super valuable these days, especially with how teens are being bombarded with all sorts of, not so great stuff, whether it's through their phones or whatever. So it's good to have a resource like you available to them to help them, navigate through their own stuff in their heads and everything else. So that's awesome. What, in terms of your approach to working with us, I know you've always worked well with other healing practitioners in different industries. That being said, who you're looking to connect with in the chamber? What type of companies, and whether they're healing companies or other businesses that make sense for you in terms of being able to get the word out about your business and so forth?
I mean, anybody in the holistic realm, massage therapists, PTs, chiropractors, obviously anybody like in my realm, acupuncturist, hypnotherapist. I'm always kind of looking for referrals, but I also I just really love business, which is kind of unusual in my field. Holistic practitioners don't usually like business. Like they don't like that part of it, but I do. So unless it's a field where I am so out of my element, I'm like, I have no idea what you do. I always will like make an appointment with a financial advisor and be like, let's do lunch. Let's just chat about business, things like that. But for my circle of people, I tend to, again, kind of attract and work more with the holistic, the healthcare, that piece. And I actually just started a group on Facebook called Massachusetts Healers because I have so many clients that are looking for referrals now that are in person. And they're kind of hard to find, because so many people ended up going virtual, which is fine. Right. But, there are also people who still want an in-person therapist, or they want to get an intuitive session and see the person. Right. So that's the group that I'm starting it to kind of gather more referrals for hands-on healers, hands-on practitioners in the state.
That's awesome. Awesome. So what are the best ways for people who are interested in finding out more about your services and obviously going and scheduling an appointment? What are the best ways for them to connect with you?
I'm very responsive to email. So healingpointtherapeutics@gmail.com is my email address. My website is healingpointtherapeutics.com. So there's a million ways to contact me through my website. And I pride myself in being very easy to book. It's very easy to find information and book on my website. Or they can contact me via phone at 877-433-1554.
Awesome. Well, Marisa, thanks for coming on the show today. Thanks for joining the chamber. It's been great to reconnect with you and be able to see that you're growing a business here in Marborough, and there's a lot of, I know you'll be bringing a lot of value to this community. So if you're interested in learning more about Marisa and Healing Point Therapeutics, I highly recommend you reach out to her. I've known her for a number of years, as I said earlier, and she's an exceptional practitioner and just a great person to be around. So take advantage of giving her a call and learning about her services, and maybe trying a Hypno Acu session with her. I think you'll find it very valuable. That's it for today's show. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.